Let's face it, your studying sucks. So this idea has been in my head, I guess, in my mind for some time. I kind of wanted to really get down to it and make something that makes sense. I knew that I couldn't keep studying the way I did before, the way I did in school, memorizing things. Memorizing things does not work. I know, at least for me, it does not work. It does not provide any long-term foundational knowledge. You can, memorize things, have a quiz a week or so out, and then you do well, right? But you immediately forget that. So then I thought, how can I better my studying? There has to be a way. So I put together kind of a 6-step process in order to do so. So what are the 6 steps? I'd say setting up a learning goal is probably the best way to go about things, at least knowing what you're set out to accomplish, maybe in 3 weeks time, 2 months, whatever it is, right? If you're planning a career change or planning to transition to a new field like I am, then it's good to set up a time to how you plan or outline the steps for you to get there. Possibly, I'd say, I like to break it down into smaller steps. So learning new skills, I take the time out to maybe take 3 weeks to learn SQL or SQL, however you like to say it. But I think that's a good first step to take. It's a way to let yourself know what you envision and where you're going. I say surround yourself with people, content that's helpful for that goal, to achieve that goal. So people who are heading there or already in that space and have experience are very helpful people to follow. It could be anywhere on LinkedIn, following blogs, YouTube, maybe books that might be of interest to you. And I think that's the best way to where you kind of fully immerse yourself in the process, in the space. It's an approach that I've taken for everything. When I've tried to learn a new language, years ago I tried to learn Portuguese. I learned Portuguese rather quickly. I wouldn't say I was fluent, but I was proficient enough to kind of survive when I was studying abroad for 4 months. So it was really helpful. I kind of surrounded myself with people who speak Portuguese in the culture to kind of learn a little bit of the slang and small talk, so it was easier for me to kind of transition and immerse myself into that space and learn a lot quicker than just, memorizing words or sentences on like a site like Babbel or something like that. It was really helpful. And kind of talking to someone, surrounding yourself with people who are learning the same things you do. The Pomodoro technique, I say, is super, super helpful. It's the best way to kind of optimize your time. I haven't had luck with other methods or techniques that has been shared online, but this for me has been the best way for me to kind of get through whatever it is I'm learning or trying to pick up. I usually follow the standard technique, which is 25 minutes. You set a timer to 25 minutes, and once those 25 minutes are up, you take a 5-minute break, and you repeat that cycle for at least 3 to 4 times, and then you take a longer break of about 15 to 25 minutes, I believe. Yeah, I think that's been the best way for me to optimize learning a new skill. I kind of use this kind of little timer that I got from Amazon. It has a default timer set to 25 minutes. You kind of shake it and it starts the timer. And you gotta go back and forth and it kind of resets it. But it's really cool. It's pretty cheap. You can get it from Amazon. I'll link it down below and you'll be able to use that for your studies whenever you're learning something new. Let everyone in on your process. I think letting everyone in on your process is really, really important, only because it lets everybody know what you're doing, what you're setting out to do, right? It's a lot easier when everyone is in on the process and no one is trying to stop you or interrupting you or distracting you with other things. They know what you're doing, they should be conscious of it, and they are supportive of you, hopefully supportive, right? Hey, I know it won't be the case in every environment, but it's a lot easier when everyone around you is aware of what you're setting out to do. They can also keep you accountable for the goal you set. So if you have an honest talk with someone and let them know what you want to do, they can hold you accountable to that as well. They can make sure you're keeping up with with your goals, and they can also be someone, some sort of resource if you need to study, if you make flashcards or things like that. Something else that I've kind of picked up, I've seen that in the classes where I learn most, or in the jobs that I've held where I can kind of pick things up, or where I've learned to manage certain things and manage my time better, I've seen that end of week reviews have been really helpful. So setting up a weekly kind of reminder for yourself, or going over what you did for the week is really helpful. It's something that I've implemented where I kind of go over everything that I've learned throughout the week. So it's good to keep a little, or a brief summary day to day for whatever you're doing, or the days that you do study, however you plan it out, to keep that weekly summary kind of for yourself, and you can kind of brush up on what's been done and what you plan to do next. So it's a little reminder for yourself. I kind of went through the same thing as well in the boot camp that I took, the data boot camp, and it was a really important part of the process to help me learn and kind of get to the next step. Examples of this would be maybe a short quiz for the week, the brief summary like I mentioned, or writing up flashcards, or transferring your notes from paper to maybe online, like a Word doc, whatever it is. It's kind of like memorization, but it's a little helpful because you're kind of beating that new information into your head, basically, pretty much. Just kind of going over it again. Applying what you learned to the real world. So I say something sort of like a project, something that you can showcase what you learned, or maybe a blog write-up, whatever it is, something just kind of showcasing, presenting to others what you learned, or even if it's for yourself, it's good to kind of show what you've learned and kind of put that into practice. Because if you're not really putting into practice or using it in any space, then it's not really something that's going to stick. So it's basically learning through action, right? So you're furthering your learning growth or potential through demonstrating your new skills or new knowledge, right? You can also do that by teaching someone, maybe showing them, or kind of simplifying what you learned in the best way possible to kind of get them up to speed to the things you've learned. It's the best way, I think, to kind of form your ideas and kind of make it as concrete as possible. So in my example, it would be like, since I'm looking to be in that data space, I think maybe I do have a portfolio of projects that I've worked through, and whenever I've learned these skills and picked them up and worked through the weeks of learning Python, SQL, and things of the sort, I've built and put together projects kind of analyzing data sets to kind of showcase what I've learned, right? You can do something similar in your space where I know it's different for every kind of field and every space of IT. I think it's the best way to kind of get that message across that I'm here, I've learned something new, and I want to show it to the world. So I really hope you liked the video. If you did, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. How can you change it? How can you make it better? Is there a plan that you have, that you follow, that allows for you to really, really optimize your learning and not waste as much time as you used to? Let me know. Comments down below.